Hey y'all, it's Andrea with the cutest little thing. Thanks so much for hopping on to watch today's video. If you love thrift flips, home decor, upcycling, DIYs, and all of the things, then you are at the right place. If this is your first time visiting my channel, I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please hit that subscribe button where you don't miss any future videos. And if you've hung out with me before, welcome back. Either way, I'm so glad you're here today. I'm excited to share with you today's video, so let's get started. Who's excited for project number 1? I grabbed this urn at my local Goodwill. I loved it. I loved all the texture and detail on it. I wanted to try a technique on this, so I'm sort of experimenting a little bit. I'm starting out with fusion paint in the color parchment, and I just took this is sort of like a chippy, rough paintbrush, and I wanted to just dry brush over this urn for my first step. So I lightly covered it with this paint all over. I didn't get into those details too much. I just lightly brushed over them and let the paint land where it landed. I did the inside as well, but not all the way, just the part that would be exposed and you would be able to see. After that dried, I did decide to go over and do that same thing again, giving it a second coat of that dry brushing technique. I wanted a little more coverage than what I got. I've been experimenting some with my Dixie Belle Patina paint, and this is the color bronze. I wanted to create a rust look on this urn, so I'm taking my brush and dabbing on this patina paint in various places. I'm sort of getting around the bottom as well as in cracks and crevices, and as you can see, there are some cracks that were made into the urn to give it an aged look. And I'm getting into those, making sure I get in there and anywhere I just feel it would rust, like around the top and around the little handles on the side. Just continuing to dab on in various places around those details where it's sort of sticking out. And I found that dabbing on this paint is much better than brushing on, so you don't have those brush strokes. Now, I did decide to take this chippy brush and get a little bit on the tip of my bristles and go around the entire urn. Sort of like a dry brushing, I guess you could say, but I'm barely getting any paint on my brush just to blend this in, and I did decide to go around the top as well. Now, I am going to continue aging this up. There was a lot of steps to this project and just very detailed techniques, and I had to speed it up quite a bit because it was a long video. I wanted to top coat this piece with my milk paint. I'm using the Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color Mercantile, and this is a beautiful off-white color. And if you've never used milk paint before, it's equal parts of the powder and water. And you want to mix it up really well and let it sit for just a few minutes because that will help it thicken up some. Now, I wanted this milk paint to chip off of this piece, and I knew it would try to grab on and adhere really well to this piece because it's so detailed and textured. So I did use some of my Vaseline and I dabbed on in various places just so that milk paint would not adhere where that Vaseline was applied. You can also use wax for that, and there's other things that you can use, but that's just something I had on hand and close by, and I just grabbed that to do that technique with. After that, I applied my milk paint all over my piece. Now I'm just going in and drying with my heat gun. With milk paint, it's great to apply, and then you want to dry with a heat gun, because when that heat is applied, that is when the magic begins to happen. You begin to see crackling and chipping and things like that. And then you can go in with as many coats as you want. It seems like the more you layer up your milk paint, drying with your heat gun in between layers, the more you see that chipping and that crackling and all that beautiful goodness. That is, if you like that, if you like the chipping, and if you don't like that chipping, you don't have to do the step with the Vaseline, and you don't have to apply as much heat. You will get less chipping, or you could use a different paint for your top layer and not use the milk paint. Now I'm going in and wet distressing. I had a cloth there, and I just wet it with my spray bottle, going in and wiping over those raised details, and that is just going to help wet distress and wipe away some of that milk paint, because milk paint does not have a built-in sealer, so it is easily wet distressed. You can easily do that wet distress technique. And look how beautiful that is, all that texture, and got some crackling. I didn't get as much chipping as I wanted, but that's okay. It still looked beautiful in the end, I thought, and I wanted to go in and seal the entire piece with Big Top. Now time to fill it with some beautiful florals. I just stuck a round floral foam piece in it, and it fit perfectly. Lamb's ear and baby's breath. Both of these were purchased off of Amazon, and I will include those links in the description below. Just placing in that baby's breath. The baby's breath was so fragile. I did just kind of hot glue the ends of those stems onto that foam piece, because when you tried to stick it in the foam piece, they would tend to break. The little stems would break. And then I wanted to fill in all those gaps with some Spanish moss. You can pick this up at any craft store, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. I normally grab mine from Hobby Lobby. And look how pretty that is. I just love the simplicity of that lamb's ear greenery paired with that baby's breath. I hope y'all love this one. Let me know what you think. As y'all notice, in this video, we're using lots of Sweet Pickins milk paint, and I am proud to announce that you can now contact me through my Facebook business page to purchase yours today. I am now a retailer of this awesome product, so for now, message me through my Facebook business page. Let me know your needs and wants. I will gladly help you out, get you an order shipped to your door. Soon I will have a website. You can purchase through that, but for now you can do it this way and get your own Sweet Pickins milk paint delivered so you can try this awesome product out yourself. Now let's get back to the video. Let's get started with project number 2. Alright guys, for this project I have 2 thrifted candlesticks. These are the ceramic candlesticks. I'm just giving them a good clean. We are going to do that same technique we did in our previous project, But first I want to coat these with Mod Podge, and that's just going to dull these down and just help that paint adhere to this piece when you're dealing with slick, smooth, shiny surfaces like this one. You want to coat them with something to just help the paint adhere to those. We're also going to add a top to these. These are wood rounds I purchased from Hobby Lobby out of their wood pile section. And I'm using E6000 glue and also hot glue to adhere these wood rounds to the top. And I applied my glue, and you just want to position them evenly there. And that E6000 glue, it's a stronger hold of a glue. And the hot glue is more of an instant hold. So by using both, you will have that instant hold from your hot glue. And then that E6000 glue takes a while to dry, but it has a much stronger hold once it's good and dry. I'm using Fusion's paint in the color Parchment. Fusion paint is an all-in-one paint. It has a built-in sealer, primer, all in one. And I'm also using pickling salt to mix with my paint, and this creates lots of texture. It's going to give you beautiful texture. You just want to mix that in really well. I'm holding it up close here so you can see all that texture in there. And now I'm taking my sponge brush and just doing a dabbing or a stippling motion to apply this paint. I like using these sponge brushes to do it this way instead of having a regular paintbrush and painting it on. You will have those brush strokes, and you don't want that. And this is also by stippling it on like this, you are creating even more texture by doing it this way. And I know this paint color really isn't much different than what it initially was on this candlestick, but at least by this technique, I'm getting all of that texture that I was going for. And I'm doing that same technique to the top on this wood round. And this is just going to make my piece cohesive and all go together in the end and make it look like it's one piece instead of two pieces put together. I am now drying that paint with my glue gun. Listen at me. My heat gun. And the sponge brush wasn't quite getting the paint on there, on the wood part where that little design is on the side. So I grabbed a smaller paintbrush, but I'm still doing that dabbing technique with this brush. Using the smaller brush is helping that paint to get in all those little details on the side and that design there. Now I'm using Dixie Belle's the Patina paint in the bronze. I'm taking another small paintbrush and dabbing on in various places all over the candlestick, and then I'm taking that sponge brush and dabbing back over that paint to help blend, and you see the look that it's given me there. And I'm going in various places just along the bottom and where it goes in and out and where there are details in here. Just creating that aged, dirty look. It almost looks like dirt. I'm wanting it to look dirty. So I continue that process. And also I do that on the underneath, under that wood round. I'm not too much worried about the very top of our wood round because we are going to embellish our candlesticks with something in the end. So that will not be seen. And there it went. I was waiting for it to happen. I was in a rush and didn't let my glue dry completely before I started the painting process. So do what I say and not what I do. Make sure you let your glue dry completely before you try to paint and move forward with your project. Now going in with that Sweet Pickins Milk Paint in the color Mercantile. I've got it all mixed up in my cup here. You want to use equal parts of water and powder in your milk paint to create the perfect mixture. And you do want to let it sit for a few minutes and thicken up before you start brushing that on. And I'm brushing it all over this candlestick. I'm not trying to get full coverage. I do want some of that dark color peeking through. So I'm not getting a whole lot of paint on my paintbrush, but I do a couple of layers, and you want to use your heat gun between layers and just layer up that paint, and that's going to help create the most beautiful look from your milk paint. I didn't think I was going to get too much chipping on this piece since it's so textured now, because that milk paint's just going to grab onto all of that texture. But I'm still getting such a pretty look from the milk paint and lots of crackling, and you will see that in the end when I do a close-up. So I love the end result of this technique. Doing another good dry on there. Now we're ready to embellish. These cute little ceramic birds, I have already glued them onto those little wood slices. Those are the ones you can get from Dollar Tree, or I'm sure they have them at Hobby Lobby or other craft stores. Now I want to dab on that patina paint on these birds. I'm going to do the same technique I did, except I'm just going to have the bronze patina paint on the underneath, and then I'll go over that after it dries. I did a couple of coats drying with my heat gun between coats, and then I'll go and apply that milk paint over that. These birds initially came from Hobby Lobby. They are such cute birds, but I did win a box of goodies a while back from Emily's Upcycled Home. She did a drawing, and I was the winner, so I got a box full of goodies shipped to me, and these birds were in there, but they were from Hobby Lobby. One of my birdies came off of the wood slice, so I went ahead and reattached that back with E6000 and hot glue again. And now here's my milk paint. And I'm sorry I'm out of view here for a few seconds, but I'm applying that milk paint right over, all over the bird and the little wood slice. And I do a couple of coats of the milk paint as well. And you will see this bird chipped and crackled so beautifully. I was so excited of how much crackle and some chipping that I got off of the bird. You tend to get more chipping with milk paint on smoother, shiny surfaces versus rough, raw surfaces. So just keep that in mind when using milk paint. And here I am going in with the second coat of milk paint on our bird. And if you are the type that doesn't like the chipping, that's okay. You can still use milk paint and get those beautiful results by adding extra bond to your milk paint. And that helps that paint adhere to your piece and gives you way less chipping, if any at all. Now I'm sealing in our birdies and little wood slices with Big Top. I'm just brushing that on really well, giving it a good coat, and want to seal our pieces really well. Milk paint does not have a built-in sealer, so you want to be sure you get those sealed up with a top coat or a wax of some sort. Now time to embellish. These little mini grapevine wreaths I purchased from Amazon, I believe. It will be in the description. See, I'm showing you that bird, all that chippy goodness, and then I love all the texture on our candlestick as well. I am hot gluing the little mini grapevine wreaths to the top of our wood rounds. Just want to hold it a few minutes and give it time for that glue to dry. And then I glued the little wood slice with the bird sitting on it in the center of that. Add moss around that. You can grab moss from Walmart, Dollar Tree, or any craft store. And look how cute that is. I do decide to add baby's breath in at the end. There it is. I think the baby's breath was such a pretty touch. I hope y'all love this project. It was definitely a learning experience, but I love the end result. I hope you do too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We have reached the end of today's video, so we're going to look at those finished products one last time. Here's the before pic of our urn and the after pic. And also, here's the before of those candlesticks and the after. I hope you loved today's projects. I thought they turned out really beautifully. Let me know what you think in the comments and let me know your favorite. Today's video will have a second part, so be on the lookout for that video. It will be coming out Tuesday, April 30th, Tuesday night. And if you are watching the replay of these videos later on, the link for the other part will be in the description. So you can just go in the description, click that link, and be able to see part 2 or part 1. If you need to go back and watch part 1, you can find that in the description, as well as all the products we used in today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate all the support that you give my channel. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I will see you on our next video. Don't forget, you can also find me over on Facebook and TikTok as well. Give me a follow there where you won't miss a thing. See you guys next time.